Bastards! Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dirk. This is iBashers Live, otherwise known as Dirk Weekdays. I'm your host, Dirk, and it is your show. I just host it. Let's see who's kicking around in the StreamYard YouTube Dirkiverse. Scotty H is in first place, Lord H. Look at that, first place. Wow, I'm proud of you, buddy. I love how you guys fight over that. It's so funny. It's really amusing, the things that go on in the side chat that you peripherally see. Dean is up next. Scotty H, the first the worst, second the best, third the one with the hairy chest, but which would make Dave Fahrenheit 451 the hairiest guy in the room. But I think that honor goes to the hairy Sicilian. But who knows? And Melly C's here. I will wait to be the fourth. May the fourth be with you, Melly C. Amazing. What are we all doing on this Wednesday? I mean, there's not much in the news other than, Hunter Biden going to wherever he's going and that kind of shenanigans. But what did we get? We got more Swatch news. Jesus Christ already. Reynald Eichelman, what's going on with you? Dean again. Dean says, Fahrenheit 451, you have the werewolf chest. No, who's fourth? 1, 2, 3, 4. Third, yeah. No, would it be Dave? Yeah, it is Dave. Dave, there you go. Prove it. Andrew Wolkowicz. Oh, have off today. Hey, Andrew's in the room today. Hello, darling. Welcome to the beginning of the show. It's so rare that we get you for the entirety of the hour. How are you? $2 Canadian. Or as we noticed, because I think Eric McCormick from Will and Grace, I believe he's Canadian. Is that correct? Most people from Canada say Canada, and we say Canada. But every time I see somebody from Canada talk about Canada, they say Canada. I guess it's like being Cannes and Cannes. I remember the Cannes Film Festival when I was a kid, but it's Cannes. 100% it is Cannes. So, I don't know. So what do we owe you for that, my darling? We're going to start you out with the classic. Remember when I used to do this? And annoyed the world over, because it actually, that harmonic will blow your eardrums off. It's probably why I had that weird problem with my ears, which is resolved. Thank you, ECE. Vaughn pre-upvoted. Hey, on Omega, didn't they do the Summer Blue releases last year? They did, and they were nice. They were real watches. This is again not a real thing. It's totally not a real thing. We'll get to it. I have the page. We could look at it. I mean, they could have, if they were going to do more of the same, just changing the colors around. I mean, big whoop. Like I said in the thumbnail, how about mission to Alpha Centauri, or as everybody says now, Alpha Centauri. I never heard that before. I watched the Lost in Space, and they were on a mission to Alpha Centauri. I've been obsessed with astronomy and space exploration my entire life. I'm a sci-fi fan in the fact that I like the science-based stuff, like the Roddenberry stuff, and, Heinlein and things like that. Guys that were really smart and wrote things that were possible. As we all know, a lot of the Star Trek stuff is coming to fruition. What do we all use? There's an episode of Enterprise, and I know I talk about that show a lot, but where Captain Archer says to Paul, just do me a favor, put that on a pad for me. Like, they have iPads, and it was before iPads. So all this stuff, phones, all these things. I'm just waiting for phasers, because there's a couple of people who deserve it. Just on stun, though. Vaughn says, Andrew, day off, you lucky bastard. He's a wonderful bastard. And then Gilbert, Monsieur, is here, upvoted. Thank you, sir. Alan Gilbert got a new watch today. Did you send me a pic? You did. Ooh, in the gallery of bastards. I want to go see what it is. I'm going to look just so I know. That is quite attractive. Oh, look at that. That's very cool. You know what's really funny? It's like I've been wearing my Speedy all day because I love wearing my Speedy. And, it's my workhorse. It's my daily driver for the most part. I have to admit, though, Melly C's gift, the Weekender, the Charlie Brown, I wear that an awful lot. And I get way more compliments on that watch than I get on anything else. But I went to put on my brand new Seiko, and it's like because I'm left-handed and I wear my watch on this hand. But on the show, I wear it on here because I'm afraid of the microphone stuff and all that crap. But the way I have to switch the buckle around because I went to go put it on for the show because I wore the Speedy yesterday. It was Speedy Tuesday, and I couldn't do it fast enough. It just the mechanics and my hand-eye coordination wouldn't do it, so I actually have to flip the sides of this thing. But this is from the beautiful Julie, and this is a watch that I really like. Will this focus? It's green. Oh, it's green, right? But you can see it. It looks like a ghost watch. It's quite beautiful, and I really like it. And having a quartz watch, which other than the swatches and stuff that I have, and Melly C's watch. Well, that's not. Is that even a quartz watch? Am I an idiot, or I don't even know for sure? I think it is. Actually, it isn't. It's crazy, like because I always grab watches thinking I need to wind them, even if they're automatics. I don't know, crazy. I love it. I was gonna put it on, but I didn't because I couldn't get it on. Andrew says, "Congratulazione, Alain. Alain, Melly C, good day, Dirk, and all the bastards. Melly C was just talking about you. There you are." I wear that watch all the time. That is the number one watch I get complimented on is my Charlie Brown watch. And is it in this room? I don't think it is. I think I have it on my coffee table because I wore it last night. I switch watches a couple of times a day. I know you all do that, don't you? Alan Gobert says, thanks, Andrew. Here we go. Off to the bash. Bash time on. Ticking time. Hey, I was 17th. Yay, cheers, Dirk and all the Banshees. Hey, great to see you in the chat. 17th. Hey, that's something, right? Here's Vince Fine Arts. Wore my moon watch today in the rain, and now it's a man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Two things happened to mine, right? One, the bezel came off long ago. I don't know when. I was still working at that restaurant, and it was probably during the time I was washing dishes or whatever. But every single day, it got fogged up. Oh, you're talking about moon watch, not moon swatch. Your actual moon watch got fogged up. Well, is it vintage? Vince, we need to have a conversation. What model is it? So it's like it's a Speedmaster Professional and it fogged up. I mean, you probably need to have it serviced and get the gaskets redone because that shouldn't happen. As you know, you can't wear them in the shower. They're not waterproof in any way. What do they say? 10 bars or whatever? It's nonsense. No, they're not. This thing, washing dishes, washing my hands, even washing my hands, I take it off. Like I was in Grand Central yesterday. And I was in that brand new amazing terminal. It's beautiful, for now. And I went into the restroom and it was gorgeous. Everything was marble. It was very, very nice. And they have like this big kind of spray, sink. I took it off, put it in my pocket, washed my hands, dried them, then put it back on. They just don't do well in the water. Tell me exactly which model you have and what year is it. And then we probably need to have a good old eye bashers talk about getting you service, because if it's new, then you just bring it to them and say, why is my dome fogging up? Because that's bullshit. That should not happening. Travis Watts is in the room. Good afternoon, bastards. Good afternoon to you, Travis. Great to see you in the live chats. Dave says, I'm not in it to win it. That's hilarious. Andrew, look, you're chatting in the show. I had a call once from a woman from Alabama. Is this going to be a limerick? I had a call once from a woman from Alabama. The call should have taken 30 seconds. She had me on the phone over an hour. She said she couldn't get enough of my accent. Kept asking me to say, oh, oot in a boot in the hoose. Yo, they're in the hoose. I mean, you got to admit that stuff is great. Unbelievable. Vince Fine Arts wants to know what I think of Jason Faulkner. So for those of you who don't know, and I have them handy because I listen to these records more than any other records in my collection. This is a band called Jellyfish. This is their first album, is called Belly Button. And Jason Faulkner is the lead guitar player on this record. He is not the lead guitar player on their second record. This is Spilt Milk. And they're both incredibly fine records. I love Jason Faulkner. But I think Jason Faulkner, and I think this happens in a lot of bands, and I'm glad you asked. I think this is true when you're in a band, unless, when you're Rod Stewart or, a solo artist who's the guy, then you're the solo artist and you hire people, and that's fine. I don't know what I read Rod Stewart's book. That's why his name just popped out of my head. Never been the biggest fan of him, but man, he's very cool. And his book was terrific. When you're in a band with people as insanely talented as Andy Sturmer and Roger Manning. Now, those are the guys that are this band and whatever. The bass player on the first record is a studio guy, but then they got whatever. Long story short, Jason Faulkner joined this band under the pretense that he was going to be able to write songs. But when you're working with guys who are of the caliber of Lennon and McCartney, that's why it took so long for George Harrison to bloom. And what a great songwriter he was. Obviously, he's written some of the greatest songs we've ever listened to. But I think he was serving an apprenticeship because out of the gate, McCartney and Lennon were so outrageously talented. And I think ego is a problem in bands in general. And I've been in one band, but I've played with a lot of other people, and I know a lot of friends who are in bands. Now, when you work with someone, like, for example, I've never been precious about my own material to the way, like, in my band, the other major writer is a guy named Jim Bakke, who you guys have all met on the show. And he's an incredible writer, great lyric writer, great melody writer. I've never been of the opinion, but what about my songs? Why aren't I the writer? Why am I not writing all the lyrics? I've even said in my band, I wish somebody else would sing a song once in a while, because I love the Beatles and Kiss, other band members, Styx, any other guys in the band that could sing. There's tons of them. I always thought of Queen, perfect example. Queen, everybody but John Deacon sang in that band. Roger Taylor song, a Brian May song. Obviously, Freddie Mercury's the lead singer and the greatest there ever was. However, it's cool when you get variety. And this brings me back to this guy, Jason Faulkner, because you asked. So I'll tell you what I think. I think Jason Faulkner's incredible. I love him. However, this is a better record. It's a better album because these guys had complete, utter control. Not that they didn't have it on this one, but the guitar players, and they used big guys, John Bryan and a lot of famous session players playing on it. They probably told them exactly what to play. And I think that those two guys were the band. And I think Jason Faulkner, his solo records are spotty if at best. He was in a band called The Grays for a while, and his song was the very best years. He's a talented guy, but I think people need to check their egos at the door. And yeah, from what I heard, Andy wasn't nice to Jason, and they eventually made up at a studio. I heard that whole story, and I think that's great. But when you're in a creative endeavor, who the strongest, like if you're doing tug of war, you want the anchors in the back, right? You can't be a dumb and say, well, I'm going to anchor it because, I'm whatever your excuses are, you should know. And it's very hard for people to admit when they're not the sharpest, tool in the shed, or the smartest guy in the room, or the best singer in the room, or the best guitar player in the room. Listen, I have way too many guitars for a singer. I'm a shit guitar player at best. I know that. Did I get to play on my solo record? Yeah, because it was my solo record. I write a ton of songs for my band and I demo them all, but I certainly don't think, well, why did you erase my guitar part? Wasn't it brilliant? No, because I have guys who are going to do it better, because that's what they do, and that's what being in a band is about. Jason Faulkner was the right guitar player for that band. And I'm going off about this obscure band that nobody even knows exists. There are very, very feverish fans about this band, though. I am one of them, because these two records, if you've never heard them, if you like the Beatles, the Partridge Family, Supertramp, Queen, this one's more bubblegummy, in the best, most delicious way. It's like eating too much dessert. It's sweet, the infectious. The playing is incredible. The singer is the drummer, and he has a drum set out front, and he sings, stands, and plays. They're incredible. This record is more like a magnum opus. It's the Beach Boys are now included in this thing of epic vocals and ridiculous layering and studio trickery, and I mean, it's just it's a masterpiece. And it's analog, and everybody sang on it, everybody played on it, and there's no computers, and it was recorded on tape. People used to make great art with their hands and with their throats and with their eyes, and they used to do it. Now it's just AI shit. It's terrible. Anyway, how's that? I like Jason Faulkner, but I don't think he's a great solo artist. I think he was great in a band, and I don't think he should have quit. I think he should have stayed with that band, and imagine what would have happened, right? Melly C, it's quartz. Okay, I wasn't sure whether or not it was. I get the most compliments from that. I just do. Oh, so Vince says it was a moon swatch. Yeah, I suspected as much, because if it was a Speedmaster Professional, like a moon watch, I'd be like right down to the Omega dealer. Well, those things, they're just not, they're toys. We collect them. They're stupid, and we like them. If one says bad seals, yeah. It's Kieran P. Kieran, good evening, folks. Celebrating the incredible Irish women's relay team. What a performance. That's great. I didn't know about it. I guess we'll all watch that. Was it really great? Did they win? Fantastic. Franco Fiore, hello, all upvoted. Thank you so much for upvoting. He's always the upvote cheerleader. So grateful, man. Vasilios from Greece. Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to you, Vasilios. Great to see you in the room. Bojo, worked with Roger once. He was super nice. Oh, you worked with Roger Manning? Bojo, would you tell us everything about that? That's fantastic. Yeah, he's great. I mean, there's a couple of interviews you could watch on the YouTube networks where he sits and there's that one guy, I don't know his name. He's a British producer. I had never heard of him, but he's obviously got some, I haven't heard of everybody. I didn't know that Tuscany had coastline. I guess I did. I just didn't know. Anyway, sometimes we make stupid statements. It's happened. It's to be human, and it's fine. He sits and listens to both records. This guy, Stewart something or other. This guy makes Roger sit down and listen to both of these records. Didn't you love Vince Fine Arts, how I had them right, Candy? I listen to them all the time. If you guys haven't heard these records and you like the above, it's just majestic, fabulous, catchy, the most delicious dessert you've ever had. If you like that kind of music, like the Bee Gees and the Beatles and the Partridge Family. I love the Partridge Family, and I listen to them all the time because it was the Wrecking Crew, some of the best songwriters in the world, and David frickin' Cassidy, who's one of the greatest singers of all time and one of my favorites of all time. So Roger, yeah, he's he played on, so Jimmy Bakke, who is the lead guitar player and songwriting, bookend for Hitman from my band. He has a band called Fuzzbubble, and they are in that power pop vein, and they're a terrific band. And when they were they had Susanna Hoffs on their record. They made this big record for Puff Daddy's record label, Bad Boy, before he was, beating up women and being a jackass. Meanwhile, I always heard he was gay, and I guess not, or maybe he is, and I don't know. Because gay dudes like girls, so way more than straight guys do. So they had a big budget. This record never came out, by the way. They put it out on their own individually. They had Mike Klink from Guns N' Roses produced it, and they had Roger Manning play on it. I'm not sure what track it was. Maybe it was for a soundtrack or something like that. Jimmy shows up every once in a bluesy moonsy, so he will say, but I'm pretty sure he played on One Thing or Another on the Fuzz Bubble. He's gonna get you. I heard that in the store yesterday. One Way or Another. What a freaking album that was. Man, Parallel Lines by Blondie. If you don't have that record, man, that is one of the great pop rock albums of the of any era. I believe that record is the 70s. It might be 78 because Heart of Glass is on there one way or another. Fade Away and Radiate. What else is on that record? It's huge record. So many great songs. I heard that in the store and I was like, fuck, that's a song. It's better than that reggaeton shit. I was in a store the other day and I was like, this girl behind the counter is going like this. And I said, aren't you sick of that beat by now? Aren't you absolutely tired of that reggaeton shit? And she's like, what do you mean? I love it. I'm like, no, it's terrible. It's the same thing. It's a drony drum machine. Don't you want to hear somebody like some kind of groove? And she goes, I like it. And, and I'm like, well, what do you listen to? And then she named all these artists I never heard of. And I was like, well, that's all auto-tune. She goes, I know, but who cares? Who cares? Indeed, who cares? She said it. Who cares? Nobody cares if stuff is fake. I don't know. I mean, I know Asheen doesn't mind if stuff is fake, and that's a shame. He's a classically trained musician, but he defends that. He's like, it's just you're an old man and you're letting it get the best of you. And I'm like, we can save it. I know we can. We can ban auto-tune. But anyway, it's funny. I mean, it says something when you're a classically trained musician that you're willing to let that go. I've had quite a lesson in classical composition this week. I mean, I might have studied voice classically, but I didn't go to any of these kind of orchestration courses. I'm doing this new theme that Emmett O'Malley wrote for Sunday Mass. It might take a while. I have 100 tracks of voices on this track so far, because when you're composing for choir essentially, and it's a church organ-y thing. It's like, he wrote this thing that's requires a vocal arrangement, so you have to do, like, I'm not a woman obviously, so I'm doing the male parts. So you're doing 4-part harmony, and 2 are ascending, 2 are descending, and it's challenging, and you make a lot of mistakes, and it's a lot of work, and your computer chokes, and it's like I almost was like, shit, I wish I paid way more attention, because I'm so used to cutting harmonies for rock stuff, thirds, fifths, minor seconds, easy stuff. But when you're doing this, it's very, very succinct. It has to be a very certain way. Who knows? Very interesting stuff. Andrew says, never learned any guitar or anything else. Pretty sure I could screw up the spoons. Hey, you know how hard the spoons are, dearest Andrew? Spoons are super duper hard. I've seen, what was that song? Spoon Man. That was, what was the name of that band? Soundgarden, Chris Cornell. A guy I never got into until he did the Bond movie. I didn't really care. Melly C says, I get more compliments on my Timex watches than my other watches. Isn't that true? And you have a shenanigans load of Tudors, if I'm not mistaken, Melly C. And they're beautiful. Tudor's that brand also that just doesn't get the love. And, it's like, what would be a subsidiary of Lincoln? Mercury, right? You have a Mercury. Oh, nobody's going to go. They're going to go, ooh, nice Lincoln. But the hot Mercury, you never hear that. People don't know that, in some ways they're better than Rolex. In a lot of ways. One, they give you what you want every year. They come out with the models that the fans want. And Rolex is like, no, we're not doing it. No. Dean says, I give them a listen, Dirk. Yeah, if you'll, first of all, and I'll tell you another thing. I'm not going to harp on jellyfish. Why not? My show, your show, I just hosted. I will tell you this much, that it is almost universally accepted by producers and engineers, maybe not now, because production is garbage. It's all in the box. It's all on a computer. But high fidelity wise, these are considered 2 of the very best recordings sonically. So much so that several famous producers have used mostly this one, even though this one sounds great. Now, this is the production team that did the Bee Gees, Jack Joseph Puig and Albie Galutin. They use these to tune their rooms when they're ready to get a mix done. They'll put this on and they'll set their EQ, they'll set the room up just that these records will sound perfect on. And it is universally, anybody who's ever heard these records, they're astonishing sounding. And that's hard. Bojo says, was engineering for producer Julian Raymond. He brought Roger in on a session to do keys. That's cool. Can I ask you what project that was? Maybe something I could listen to. I'm always interested to hear what. I know Roger does a lot of stuff. Roger, I don't know if he's still with Beck. What was the name of that big song he had? I mean, I'm terrible with Beck. Sea Change. I have that one album, but he had that one big hip hop thing. Beck was the way more talented. Who's the guy that looks like a Wishnick now? That's big star, plays stadiums. Ed Sheeran, right? Meh. To me, he's like Taylor Swift. Meh. I don't get it, but people love him. It's very generic-y stuff. But he started out with that song about like somebody dying of a drug overdose and AIDS and all that stuff. And it was very controversial. And I liked it. Yeah, so where was I going with that? I've said he reminded me of that guy. Oh yeah, because I don't really quite get that. I really don't. I heard to err is human. It's true. However, I think if someone is overweight and cross dresses, that would be divine. But you're very funny, Andrew. I told you. Oh, were you here for the show yesterday? I watched this documentary on cross-dressers in the 1940s and 50s called Casa Susanna, and it was on PBS, the public broadcasting system. So it's not trashy Netflix or Amazon. This was like real people who are married with families and heterosexual that just love jumping into a nightie or to a pair of lace panties or a bra. It's a thing. They're not homosexuals. They're not transgender. They're none of those things. They are people that like to just get in the ladies' kit, and they all stay married. Oftentimes, their wives become a part of it, meaning they support them and drive them to Casa Susanna and to these other places. It was a very interesting psychological essay on the different, on psychology and humanity. These are guys that were astrophysicists. One guy was a heart surgeon. Another guy was a very prominent lawyer in Washington, D.C. And then on the weekends, like it's bra and panty time. It's bra and panty time. They just, like I'm a garden variety gay dude, and I have never had any inclination whatsoever on putting on a lady's frock. Just never been my thing. What is this? I'm happy being a guy. I've always been happy being one. And I like to leave the beauty for the ladies. Plain and simple. I'm going to leave that thing for the ladies because I think it looks better on them. And if you're a linebacker, let's face it, Bruce Jenner doesn't, or Caitlyn Jenner doesn't really look very good. I'm happy if she's happy, if that's real. I think it's real for a lot of people. I do not believe it is real for him. I think, why would you wait till you're in your 60s or 70s to become a chick? Wouldn't you want to do it when you're like in your 20s so you can enjoy all the great things with being a beautiful woman has to, can come from that? Like Omar Sharif, he's that age, right? Or Robert Redford or Warren Beatty or one of those things, It just seems crazy to me. And it's like, well, because you were a decathlon athlete. I don't know. Listen, I know I have known many a drag queen. I've known many a transgender. I've known many of this in-betweens, outs, and the others. And you know what? None of them have anything in common. So everybody's got a different story. As Rod would say, every picture tells a story. Le Carré says, Puff Daddy groped Mike Tyson on TV. Tyson had to remove his hand. Puff Daddy had no sense of, so yeah. Well, I've never met the guy, so I don't know. But, my guitar player worked with him a lot. So maybe he's just a repressed homosexual, but gay dudes worship women, so that's never gonna happen. Gay dudes don't strike women. We applaud them. Carolyn Martin, it was Carolyn, the girl with the wrench. Carolyn Martin's in the room today. It was fascinating. It was an incredible thing where these are all home movies and there's actual footage of these not very attractive ladies. I mean, these guys all look like football players. They are, dentists to be a dentist. They did not make very attractive ladies, but they didn't go out in public. They did it in the confines of this compound where they could, enjoy the silks and the satins and the lace. It's a whole thing. And it has nothing to do with their sexuality whatsoever. It was their identity. They liked to be women for the weekend or for the month or forever, how long they were staying there. They wanted to express their femininity, their feminine side, and then go back to their regular desk job, be Joe at the plant, or on the auto line, hey, you Joey, yeah, we're gonna do more ball joints and tie rods on that Ford, and then they'd become, Yvonne on the weekend, like Billy, but he's Lady Yvonne or Lady Jessica for the weekend. And they would sit down and have tea parties and just act as feminine as possible. And let's face it, drag queens and I'm not talking about transgender people. That's a totally different angle. Transgender people are people who are more than likely, it's some mistake or some kind of cellular thing that happened when they were conceived that they wound up being the gender that they are not. And I totally believe that to be true. And these are people who have a crisis on their hands because they identify, this is not somebody who wants to jump into a frock. It can't be related to that at all. Those are people that, eventually, maybe, go and have surgery and do all that stuff. And, it's amazing that can happen for them now. And more than likely, they're usually more effeminate looking and all that stuff. It's not, you don't see Joe Namath, doing it. Bruce Jenner is an anomaly. And, maybe he would have just gone to Casa Susanna for the weekend and had a good time. He could be Lady, what's his name? Lady Caitlin. For the weekend. I don't know. Every case is different and should be treated with trepidation and respect because you don't know what that person is going through. As I always say at the end of the show, they could be going through something, like luckily for many of us, that's never been a problem. But could you imagine what it would be like? And I'll tell you, I knew of, being, a secretive gay person for the majority of my, I knew a long time ago. But you don't want people to know that's a secret, but imagine knowing that you were born with the wrong equipment and that you were not what your body said. Imagine if that happened to you. And I always tell, when you meet these bigoted people that just say, trannies, stupid. It's ignorance. Because imagine if it were you or your daughter. If it was you or your daughter or your son or whomever, somebody you love who's truly going to go through something that is life altering and tragic, and it's so hard for them. And not to be preachy, but you have to take each case as it comes, because some people were just, some people are born, left-handed, right-handed. Some people are born women when they should be men, and vice versa. Some people are born sociopaths and serial killers. I truly believe that we are what we were meant to be, because you ever meet somebody doesn't just overnight become a serial killer. That's in them. Sociopath, that's in them. That's the genetic cards they were dealt. People who come out of the womb, as a cisgender male, but have always identified spiritually and physically and relatably as female. That happens. It's not learned. None of that stuff happens. Nobody's, turning you that. Anyway, where am I going with this crazy nonsense? Are they called transvestites? Well, they called themselves transvestites. I don't know. Now, transvestites are men who just like to dress like women, and they're generally not gay. Except for Frankenfurter. How'd you do? I see you've met my faithful handyman. He swung both ways, but, a lot of people do anyway. And they don't have to dress up. Or is that not PC anymore? I think it is PC because it doesn't denote or take away from people who are transgender. Transgender people who are born one sex and eventually wind up gravitating and or surgically becoming the people that they always thought that they should be. I think it's different. Tranny is considered a slur. But then there's a whole host of words that were here and not here, and then they take back. And what did the Pope say the other day? Again, apparently he's saying some disparaging things about gay people. And my friend Giselle asked me if that was offensive. And I said, well, no, because he's a very, very old man. And he's an Argentinian Italian guy. And this is probably slang that wasn't either coarse or considered that defamatory or derogatory or any of those things, and he was using it behind closed doors. Now, if we all recorded everybody says behind closed doors, we'd all be up shit's creek now, wouldn't we be? Because it's like I said about pillow talk. You know, when you hear like somebody, you know, like Army Hammer said, yeah, I'm gonna eat you. You know, I mean, how many guys have said that to a woman in the bedroom? 90% of them. You know, people should never hear what goes on behind closed doors. They should never hear private conversations, you know, pillow talk and locker room talk. And even listen, I'm not here to defend Donald Trump, but, you know, like that stuff he said to the guy on the bus, guys, I hear that all the time. It's true. It's certainly not one of the things about Donald Trump that I dislike. Guys do talk like that. Guys say such stupid shit. We're gross. We're terrible. We're beasts. Yet we can be gentlemen, sure. But I hear, you know, some of the stuff. It's like, oh God. And I once in a while will say, that's nasty, you know, because it might be somewhat disrespectful to somebody else in the room. Because I'm Teflon when that stuff. The only time something really bothers me is when somebody says something directly to me or someone I care about that is hurtful, and they mean it. Not what the Pope said. It was like, I don't even know the word, the Italian word. I'd never heard it. It's like fagalissimo, or which sounds great. She's fagalissimo. Oh my God, did you see that show? It's fagalissimo. Sounds like a brand new gay fantastic word, right? It's the new fabulous. I don't know. It's crazy. It's probably not PC, but who knows? What's PC today is taken back the next day, and then, you know, like she, he, him. That's derogatory now. My God, Carolyn Merchant with 50 balloons. I have to admit, I agree with you. The Caitlyn Jenner thing is a little odd. But all I wish for is her happiness and peace. Yeah, I would do too. But I personally think she's full of shit. And that's only because, you know, like she killed somebody and she murdered somebody while she was like fixing her makeup or lipstick in the car. And she was on a cell phone and she tapped somebody and that car hit another car and that car went into the traffic and that person died. And because of her whole, and then she came out with this I'm a woman thing, and that whole manslaughter thing got disguised, you know, and she didn't, you know, have a snipperoonie. I'm not saying that everybody should do that who's in that situation. I think that's a very personal choice to do that. And, you know, it's irreversible once a person does something like that. So yeah, you get the monster bang-a-rooney. Let's go with that. Geez, that's really scary, isn't it? Yeah, I don't, you know, like it's almost impossible to keep up with the words. Like now, all the young gays call themselves queers. Everybody's queer now. Now, when I was a young buck, that was an extremely derogatory word. Hey, look at the fucking pack of queers. You queer, you're a fucking queer. It was a very, very bad word. And now it is like, you know, oh, I'm queer. It's like an actual term that people use all the time. And like, okay, you took it back, and that's power, you know. It's like, you know, obviously a word none of us should ever use is the N-word, unless you're Quentin Tarantino. But like, you know, the Black community has taken control of that word in their world, but, you know, it's not cool for people to say it. So I guess if you're a queer person, it's okay if you say it. I don't like the word queer. I never did. Because, you know, if you look up the definition of the word queer, it means something that's not quite right. It's a bit queer. So I don't, you know, I think it just plays into that whole thing. Anyway, that's a big one. Bojo says, if my memory is correct, it was most likely Cheap Trick Rockford. I love the Rockford. I'm a big Cheap Trick guy. Big Cheap Trick. Do I have Cheap Trick really handy right now? I have something handy right now by Cheap Trick. I have my albums, CDs that I listen to really quickly. I have this one. I love Cheap Trick. This is the self-titled one because they never had done that before. And yeah, it this is one of the last ones with Bunny Carlos because he doesn't play drums for them anymore because they got into a big fight, which is really stupid because then when they got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Rick Nielsen's drummer plays for them and he's very, very good. But the second Bunny Carlos got on the drums, I was like, oh, there's Cheap Trick. I feel the same way about Steven Adler and Guns N' Roses, a band I could not care less about. Not just, yeah, they have a bunch of songs I like a lot. But man, the second that guy gets on the drums, swing into next Tuesday. All of a sudden, it sounds exactly like what Guns N' Roses is supposed to sound like. But with that other guy that they have, he's like a clock. He's so in it. Steven Adler swings the shit out of it. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what swinging is, it's like you're kind of in the pocket in a very loosey-goosey way. It's a vibe. It's a thing. You're like, here's the thing. You're in front of it or in back of it. It's an amazing thing. Jazz is famous for swing, and swing singers like Sinatra was the ultimate swing singer. Incredible. Interesting. I'll have to look on that. I have Rockford. I have every Cheap Trick record because I absolutely love them. As per Caitlyn Jenner, look whom he married. No surprise he felt not being manly, but I understand that he still likes it. No, he does. He's a lesbian now, I guess, but he still has his male genitalia. So I don't know. He'll have to tell you what he considers himself before we address that, because I don't know. Still hardwired as a man. No, he definitely is just in drag. I just look at him. I think he's in drag. I just don't feel that, him getting sportswoman of the year, not fair. I am completely 100% against biological men competing against biological women as women. I don't think it's correct. I think it's wrong. It's unfair. It's like, well, then why can't people use steroids? Because you're taking hormones. If you are a biological man who is now transgender, you're going to be taking hormones. So not only are you going to have the original physical, let's face it, men are bigger and stronger. Most of us, not all of us, probably not me. I'm sure there's a lot of ladies that could kick my ass, but physically there's more muscle density, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So like you're going to have a male shot putter versus a female shot putter. He's likely going to win. Certainly maybe not in gymnastics or more things that require more agility that women are better at, for sure. I will never understand that. So I think Caitlyn Jenner, not that he's trying to compete in anything, but I don't see how that can possibly. Here, listen, this is another thing, like I said with Jason Faulkner earlier, about checking your ego at the door. Okay, so now the world is accepting, and it's great and fantastic. It's like, gay rights, great. Don't push it though, because then there could be a great fallout as well, because that can happen too. And like Roe versus Wade, now federally it's illegal to have an abortion. Roe versus Wade, now it's state by state. So what has happened? People kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. You know what? Isn't it great that like gay couples and transgender couples, people can adopt and they can give blood again, because they're not going to be like, well, this is definitely tainted with the AIDS because you're a homosexual, which was the case for many, many moons. So I don't know, Caitlyn Jenner, no, I'm not buying it. Just, it's too sensational. There are true people in crisis, true people who need to get their lives sorted in a positive, loving, and cared for way. And I just don't. It just feels like an episode of the Kardashians, doesn't it? It just does. I'm left-handed and I hate it. I can't use a fountain pen and I write funky. Why can't you use a fountain pen? I'm left-handed. I can use a fountain pen. What, Scotty H, da 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 da. What's going on? Why can't you use a fountain pen? Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. All I want is a little conversation. Why can't you use a fountain pen? Are you a smearer? Okay, so I don't know how I can best demonstrate this. So let me get a fabulous pen. from the beautiful Carolyn Martin. And okay, so I write like this, right? Da, 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 da. I don't do this. A lot of left-handed people write like this. I write like a right-handed person, straight like that. And I've never smeared the ink. So I don't know. I've seen lefties do this. I've seen them turn the page. Tell me more about this, Scotty H. I'm very curious because as a fellow left-handed person, I'm wearing my watch on this hand just for the show. Because right afterwards, it goes right back. Because this feels weird and I don't like it. But I do a lot of things right-handed because I have to. Scissors. You ever try to use the left-handed pair of scissors? It's weird because we're so accustomed to using the right-handed gadgets of the world. There's only 10% of the world is left-handed. And so supposedly, maybe that's because of repression, Catholic Church, etc. No one ever forced me to be right-handed. I think they did once, and then they were like, he's a lost cause. I play guitar right-handed, thank God, because maybe I would have been a much better guitar player if I learned lefty. But I would never own the guitars that I have, and I catch lefty and I throw righty. I bowl right-handed. I do a couple of things. Hockey, I play lefty, and I did play hockey for a little while. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. You hate it. Don't hate it. Be proud, man. Lefty. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. So many cool left-handed people. The artsy people, they were all left-handed. Apparently, there was a cardinal in Spain, says Andrew Wolkowicz, that disagreed with the Pope and was excommunicated. A group of Spanish nuns left the church, and they all now practice pre-Vatican II. I told you I went to that wedding that was, and then Nathaniel Hannon gave me the scuttlebutt on that. And it is still sanctioned by the Catholic Church. I didn't know that that was a thing. I thought you had to keep up with today's sale prices and circular specials. But apparently I'm wrong. That's interesting. I thought he was the cool Pope. Wasn't he finally the cool Pope? And does the Pope have to be cool? And does he have to be down with the gays and the lesbians and the transgenders? And does he have to be cool with all that stuff? It's the Catholic Church. You know, are we supposed to be afraid of God? I mean, I don't expect the church to, okay, now we're going to have women and we're going to let in all the gays. And like, he's like, we shouldn't let gays in. They're all gay. 90% of the church clergy are probably likely homosexuals. You know what they used to do back in the day? They used to throw all the lesbians. What is this? Crumbs on me. They used to throw all the lesbians and gays into the nunnery, into the convent, into the priesthood. Go hide them. And what do? They had sex with each other and God knows what else. Horrible. Le Carré, she drives like a woman. That was Ricky Gervais said she's done so much for a transgender. He goes, not very much for female drivers though. It's terrible. Correction, Cheap Trick, the latest album. Oh yeah, I don't know that I have that, but I remember hearing the singles off of it. I love Cheap Trick. I went to get a haircut at a new salon and I was asked what pronouns I use. I mean, you know, when you go to any doctor, what pronouns you use? I scratch them out and I write it. One says queer is now part of the alphabet people and the waving of their battle flag. Yeah, I don't like that word. And I have the right to not like that word because, you know, I used to hear it in the worst. I used to hear it coming out of cops' mouths. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it is. John Doe says a transvestite. I think transvestite is just a guy that likes to run into a lady's frock and live his life normally, like, you know, maybe the British banker who's, you know, wearing a really silky pair of ladies' knickers under his suit. You know, he's Savile Row, he's Richard James. Now he's all kitted out and he's really looking like a dandy, but underneath it all, he's got Le Perla, like fire engine red satin knickers. Something like that. Funny seeing Bruce Caitlin on the old Chips episode. Yeah, what a handsome all-American boy he was, you know. Higher bone density. Yeah, it just seemed, you know, it's a load of shit. It's just a load of shit. Oh my God. 550. Where's the gallery of bastards? What the see, I was going off on all this shit, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's favorite part of the show. By the way, not a lot of pictures in the Bastards gallery today. So I just want to say what you need to do is you need to send your photographs to bastarddirk@gmail.com. That's bastarddirk@gmail.com. You share with me and I share with the world. You know what I'm talking about? That's right. It's bastarddirk@gmail.com. The Gallery of Bastards.
The gallery of bastards. Send me the shots, the sublime, the absurd. The gallery of bastards. You share them with me, and I share with the world.
You know, when I went to the graduation, my nephew Mike, who's a lawyer, and he's hilarious, he comes up to me and goes, you know what I really like? The gallery of bastards. He goes, you make that into an entire song. I was like, maybe we should. It's fun stuff. Melly C up first with a little bit of Mork and Mindy action. Today we've got, what do we have on tap? We have some Stevie Nicks. We have the Famous Rumors album. And I'm not sure what the name of that album is. That's The Wild Heart. Look at Mork enjoying. Look at this. Very, Melly C, you are a purple lady. Purple lady. Let's look at her books. Let's spy. 365 days. Wow, Jamie. Very cool. Cooking. A lot of Jamie cookbooks. You can get a lot of Jamie on this side of Jamie Oliver on this side of the pond. When it comes to celebrity chefs, I will have to say that my favorites are Ina Garten, the Barefoot Contessa. She lives out in the Hamptons, and she's making all these great things for Jeffrey. One of the main reasons I like her is because she's extremely overweight, and you know she's eating all these beautiful things that she makes, and she makes beautiful stuff. And I love Martha Stewart. I may call me old school. The British guys, I guess, yeah, Jamie. I mean, I don't like what's his face, Hell's Kitchen. I don't like him. And also, he makes. I watch these Italian chefs who make fun of the way he makes pasta. Anyway, back to Mork. What just happened there? How did that happen? There you go. This is Mork, and he's lounging. Look at you, baby. Oh, look at you in the Amazon box, of course, because that's where you get. That's Oh, there's Mindy. What is she doing? Sunshine bathing, as they love to do. If only. A cat's life. She is so beautiful. What a special lady. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Look at her. That's why she won the contest that day. Here's Travis. Very cool. It's Machu Picchu? The hell? What the hell? Holy mackerel. What did it just say there? What did it say there? Machu Picchu is right. Wow. This is on my bucket list. Plus, I also heard that the food there is extraordinary. Wow. Wow. Isn't it amazing? We've been here, like, the Earth has been around for, 5 billion years? And we only started doing stuff recently. Oh, very cool. With his Seiko looking good. Wow. There's an Orient Express that goes for all of you fancy ladies and lads. There is a Orient Express that goes, I believe it's to Machu Picchu. Oh, wow. Look at that. Dude, that is a National Geographic shot. Holy crap. What did you shoot this with? Don't tell me you did it with an iPhone. Holy smokes. Look at the detail on this thing. Wow. That is incredible. There's clouds below you. You know you're in high elevation when that happens. That is National Geographic quality photography. Holy mackerel. Look at that. Wow, Travis, that is incredible. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Peru. It's supposed to be absolutely incredible. Alain Gilbert with his brand new toy that he got today, a Marathon. Look at that. I love the dial on this. I love the case. I love the dial. Great band, great case, great size for you, pal. Looks great. Oh, isn't it fun to get a new watch? Maybe I can slip mine on while I'm showing watches, because I couldn't get it on fast enough, and it was like the bastard's theme was playing, and it was like I couldn't get it on because this band is so brandy new from Julian. Such a cool watch, and it wears really big too. It wears like a 42, but it's not. It's a 40. I'm gonna switch the bands. I'm gonna get out my tool later. There it is. Beautiful. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it in good health. Looks great on you. Perfect size. Perfect size. Did I say that already? Perfect size. Andrew Wolkowicz. Oh, this is a this is one of the more beautiful shots of the ladies. Look at that. She's beautiful. Look at that shot. You obviously are the best caretaker of any cat I've ever known, considering that they're 30. What do they eat, Andrew? Like, I was doing the craziest food. I had to give away so much of it. I had just gotten a brand new order and whatever. Well, you know how that goes. Carolyn Martin, pens and watches. Spaghetti-O. Carolyn Martin featured in the gallery of bastards. Her beautiful pen making skills, of which I am a lucky recipient. And this is so cool. It's magnetic. And look at this hand. Look at how beautifully done that is. It is so, her craftsmanship is so amazing. And look at that. I mean, almost Van Gogh-esque. I'm not even looking that she's got a GMT Master 2 and Explorer 2 Polar. Not even looking at that. Not even looking at the watches. She has been saying that the Polar has become her daily driver. Amazing. Was this one? Is it just one, Carolyn? Just sending me one picture? Oh, there's more. Okay. First outing of the season. Oh, man, Alpine. Oh, man. This is a woman of class and style and substance, because holy shit. Look at that color. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my favorite color in the world. Wow. Alpina, look at that thing. Wow. That color is just not to be believed. Wow. I mean, what would you call that? Dark teal? I guess it's dark teal, right? I guess it is. Sunset from Dean. This is beautiful. Wow, look at that. Look at that sky. Palm trees, huh? English palm trees. Like, those are the same palm trees we have in Ireland. You know, they're just like, sad little short stubby ones. None of those Warner Brothers ones that you see in all the Los Angeles. Those big, tall, giant ones, which are crazy. Incredible. That's beautiful. Is that two of them? Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. A pink sky at night is a sailor's delight. A pink sky in the morning is a sailor's warning. Remember that. I always remembered hearing that. I don't know who said that. It's like somebody said it, though. Beautiful. Thank you, Dean. Oh, Loom Central. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. We're getting a little state of the collection here. Girl with the wrench, Carolyn Martin. Wow, look at this. Wow. Let's blow this action up. GMT Master. Oh, I see some jewels. Holy cow, lady. Wow. RGC pens in the box. She's got her Seamaster. Beautiful. Oh, man. I got to say that the Chromolite really is crazy town. This is a Buchera. Is that what this is? That is amazing. That's interesting. Interesting how everybody plots out their looms. Very fascinating. Wow. I got to say, Chromolite for the win, huh? Even though I've always said that, that Seamaster always had some of the best loom I've ever seen in my life. And it's a lot older, obviously. Man, Chromolite is crazy town. Now, I don't have, like, On my Milgauss, you're not going to be able to see it. I mean, maybe if I shut the lights off, I could do that. I could do that, right? Or I can't do that. Hold on a second. That's beautiful, Carolyn. That's very cool. Let me do an experiment. If I shut this off, where's my loom? Yeah. If I shut this off, see, nothing happens because it's green screen. Now, what if I change the settings and went to virtual background? I have green screen. Would it happen? None. You don't see anything, right? Oh, yeah, here you go. See, this is a combination of green and blue. You can see it here. The 369 are green and all the other indices are blue. So it is a combination of them. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that crazy? Hold on. Light back on. Well, that was an experiment that worked. Finally, I turned the green screen off. But it's weird. I have a combination on this one. And I know because this is a 2013. This was new old stock. So Chromolite is much, 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 much brighter. Looking great, Carolyn. Thank you so much for that. Jade Pine went to go see Priest. Panic attack, panic attack, panic attack, panic attack, panic attack, panic attack. Oh, he left his lettuce here. Look at that cool man. I'll tell you something right now. The guitar player, this guy, the guy on the left, for you guys who don't know, this band is called Judas Priest. They're a legendary heavy metal band. They're still around. They're actually made two of the best records they've made in ages and ages and ages. And the guy on the left is Richie Faulkner, and he's a young guy. They recruited him when another one of their original members left very acrimoniously. This guy was on stage about 3 years ago, playing his heart out. Final encore of the show, plays a ripping solo, puts his guitar down, walks outside the curtain of the stage and collapses because he had a full aortic aneurysm on stage. And he happened to be, I think he was in Oklahoma. Forgive me if I get this wrong, Judas Priest fans. He was somewhere in the deep south where there was one of the most formidable cardiac units that was less than 5 minutes away. So they threw him in a car, no time for an ambulance, brought him there. They didn't know what was going on. He was bleeding out internally. He had a full-on aortic aneurysm on stage after he played, I'm trying to remember what he's, a Painkiller, some crazy, one of the craziest, fastest things. Anyway, he survived and he thrived and he's doing really well. That's Richie Faulkner. That's Rob Halford. And that is the guy that produces their records now. And I always forget his name. Priest fans would know, but he's not an official member of the band, but the other guy, the other lead guitar player that is still officially a longtime member has multiple sclerosis. So he does not tour with them, but supposedly he records with them, which I think is not true. I don't believe that Glenn Tipton is the guy we're talking about. I do not believe that guy plays on their records because I don't hear it. And I know what he sounds like. Here's Jade again, but this time with a Seiko. Let's have a look at this. Beautiful. Oh, man. That's this. Oh, wow. The speed timer. Look at that thing. Holy shit. This is a classic. This is vintage. Look at that. That is a great looking tack, isn't it? I love the square subs. And look at the way that the day and date are. That is fantastic. Oh, man. I kind of want one of these now. Wow, I'm feeling a little lusty for that. Oof. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that one. I love it. Listen, guys, when you send stuff like that, it's very, very, very cool. Here's a beautiful sunset from Bert Dundee. Look at you with this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can I whack this up? Oh, that's gorgeous. Wow. Amazing. Wow. Thank you, Bert. Thank you, everybody. That, as they say, is the gallery.
The gallery of masters. Send me the shots, the sublime, the absurd. share them with me, and I share with the world.
The Gallery of Bastards, all for you. Thank you so much. I'll just go back to the chat so I didn't miss anything from you beautiful people. And there was a lot of stuff you guys were talking about. So, there's a lot of stuff. Holy crap, man, I'm going back far. Welcome to the club. High bone density. That's what I saw. Carolyn Martin's going to make you a fountain pen that you can write with. Of course she will, because she's great. Travis Watt says, I believe in live and let live. However, we might want to tap the brakes on. Yeah, of course not. No, of course not. Let those people make their decisions when they need to make their decisions. It's not for us to say at all. And I truly believe that that is something that only a family can decide, and people should keep their mouths shut. Politicians, especially fucking white men, shut up. Dave, Fahrenheit 452, and welcome to this club. Our club, Scotty H. Our son is also left-handed. Yeah, I'm the only lefty in my family. I think my cousin Ryan is left-handed. Ryan, you watch the show sometimes. Are you left-handed? Sometimes you do. I'm a smearer. I write the goofy curl over way. You do. See, I went to Catholic school and they didn't. I think they tried to make me go righty, but it didn't work. But they did make me not do that. So I hold a pen very like a bank teller. Yeah. Melly C, she's left-handed, and I can't use a fountain pen either. I only write with my left hand. Yeah, I can't. Well, why can't you write with a fountain pen? I write with fountain pens, no problem. Not that I use them all the time because I don't have one anymore, but I used to have a really cool old one, and I think it was a Mont Blanc, and I think it was my grandmother's, and it just fell apart. It was beautiful, and I wish I still had it. It was gorgeous. But I used to write with that. It's so much fun because, if you take your time and write beautifully, it just looks like beautiful correspondence. It's been such a fortnight since last we met. I remember our cool embrace on the bogs of the lake's cold tender. I think of you in times of emotional stress and wish that only we could procure a date to rendezvous once more. People used to write like that. They don't anymore. They could. Only the neck muscles are superior on men. The rest are pretty much the same. Well, I don't know about that. I think biologically, you get a whole bunch of other stuff. Late to the party at CW Watch Enthusiasts saying, hey, Dirk and the Bastards. Great to see you. And man, you a lot of Christopher Woods, man. That is a very sexy looking watch, by the way. Can I say that? I love that brushed red cherry. Like it's high gloss. Scotty H, I've heard that you're supposed to pull the nib across the papers. Lefties push the nib. Oh, is that what it? Oh, maybe. Oh, that's interesting. I guess that's true. Oh, shit. I'm trying it out right now, so I'm writing. No, I don't see that. No, it's the same shit, isn't it? I mean, I guess if you did it that way, I don't know. Bill Clinton and Obama left-handed. Absolutely, they are. Carolyn Martin, the girl with the moat, she says, please upvote and super chat if you can. Yeah, if you can, it would be great. Thank you so much. Pays the rent. And so am I a transvestite if I like to get into women's clothes as much as possible? Yeah, you are. Dave, you are a transvestite. John Doe, Russian women fought as equals in the men in World War II, puts a bit of a dent in men being the sole defense. Well, nobody said that, John Doe. Women are incredible patriots, and they were incredible. Without women, World War II, imagine Rosie the Riveter and all the incredible. First of all, women have a lot more smarts than guys because their brains work differently than we do. Because we wow, titties, or whatever your fancy is. For me, it's like, oh, German Shepherd. Girls have a lot more laser focus than we do. And I mean, that's a totally different story. I mean, like a woman with a machine gun, I would trust her more than I would with a guy because he'd be like, oh, titties, Travis Watt says Peruvian food is fantastic. I believe it. You shot it with an iPhone. That's crazy. Nice marathon. I love those marathon watches. The guys that put out the fires, I know that they always have those. What do you call those guys? The guys that have the planes and they dump them on the nice CGN company, right? Right. Oh, look at this. Marathoner issued to search and rescue. Andrew, you're so smart. I know. Yeah. I've seen the guys that put out all the fires. They always have marathons on. Dean, it's an old iPhone 11. Need to update. Let me tell you something, Travis Watts, my dear darling. I have an iPhone 14 Pro, and I had the iPhone 11 before this, and it was a much better camera. It took way better photos. I've never loved this phone. I'm ready to upgrade because you know what? It's nice. The only thing I will say this is it's indestructible. It is built like a Sherman tank. My iPhone 11 was a little softer, and I cracked it twice. It was the only phone I ever broke. And but I got the glass replaced on it, and they gave me a great rebate. So I got this because I wanted the 48 megapixel camera. Doesn't make a world of difference. You know what? Just doesn't. Just doesn't. This phone's okay. It's fine. It works great. It's fast. It's snappy. I loved the iPhone 11. I had the green one. It was really, really cool. Costco, low ash, better for your cats internally. Very good for kidney. Ash is filler. Right. Also get high on omega-3s. That's great. That's nice. Yeah, I tried it all. Everybody's loving your car. The Sunbeam Tiger was one of those cars used in Get Smart. Canada Search and Rescue here too. Dave, she says, you're correct. I'm blessed to have both the Tiger and the Alpine. That's amazing. Amazing. Scotty H is like, show off. Finally caught you live. Thank you for the stream. Hey, Mike. Which Mike are you? Finally caught you live. This isn't Mike, is it? Is it Mikey Mike? I mentioned you in the show if it's you earlier. I mean, I'm just generalizing. Finally caught you live. Here we are on the show live doing the Bastards Gallery. Carolyn says, hello, Mike. Everybody say hello, Mike. Hello, Mike. That's Loom, according to Alain Gilbert. It sure frickin' is. I don't know. I know that they all rebrand whatever they're calling their Loom, but Chroma Light looks crazy to me. It really and truly does. It really and truly does. Amazing. Mike says, hello, Carolyn Martin. And everyone else is saying hello to you too. Miss Martin, now you need the Carmen Gia. I love Carmen Gias. Oh my God. In that color too. Andrew says, Vaughn, personally, I wouldn't care. Hell, Hitler gave Rolex to people that quit smoking, and Castro wore Rolex. Judge the watch, not who wears it. That's true. Hitler was a very big aficionado of the Rolex watches. And you know what? Switzerland was neutral. He couldn't even get in there. Unbelievable. Yes, it very much looks like the surfboard. I agree. The Seiko reminds you of the bull of a surfboard. And I love the bull of a surfboard. Andrew says, amazing sunset. Sure was. Travis Watts, $5 super sticker. Thank you, Travis, for the super sticker. Melly C says she's a smudger. Scott E. Love, Rosie the River. Yeah, I mean, listen, man. You know what? There's nothing better than American World War II documentaries and seeing all the women on all the lines, making all the planes and all the guns and all the stuff that you needed to win the war. It was back in the day when there was like true baddies. You know, it was us versus them, not I don't know who that is, and I don't know who this is, and I'm not sure who they are, and blah, blah, blah. It was a real, like, patriotism was real. And they were patriots, and these women. Watch a movie called Swing Shift. It's really cute. It is Goldie Hawn, who's one of the most adorable creatures that has ever faced this earth. And Ed Harris and her future longtime love, Kurt Russell, where they met on that movie. Isn't that amazing? I love her. I think we just watched Cactus Flower. She won an Academy Award for that in like 1968 or 69. She's one of the most adorable things ever in the world. She's amazing. Scotty Love says, hey, Scotty Love, what's up, Basterinos? What's up to you as well? Are you talking about Smoke Jumpers? Yes, Smoke Jumpers, and not the movie that Vince on Entourage didn't get. Scotty Love missed the whole show. Well, we had the Gallery of Bastards, and somebody said to me the other day that they haven't heard the theme for the Dirk About. So, you know what? Here it is.
We're on a bash about to the end of the world. Places unseen and unheard. Gonna see Valhalla, gonna reach for the stars on this gonzo. Dirk About. Look out!
Well, we're not doing a Dirk about, but I got a couple of messages about people. I haven't heard this new thing. Well, there's a new one too coming up, and it's going to require a little bit more work because I'm kind of, Emma wrote this amazing tune. I'm just singing it, but I'm arranging all the voices, and there's 100 layers of it. So it's crazy town. It's a lot of work. So, and I keep going in there and fixing it and going blah, 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 blah. It's really nuts. So it's like a big old classical piece, but it's, 40 seconds or whatever it is, but it's still, my computer choked a couple times. I have to make sure all the other programs are closed down because it's just a mess because I'm running so many tracks. But I can't wait to share that with all of you. Anyway, that's my show. 16 minutes over the hour, guys and girls and beautiful people. Thank you to the super chatters today. Andrew Wolkowicz, the incredible Carolyn Martin with the big blow up of $50. Thank you so much. Travis Watts. You guys are amazing. Incredible, monstrous people. I love you all. Let us talk about the incredible Patreons. They are Jim Lassick, Andrew Wolkowicz, Go Moto Soto, Nick Sisto, Complicated Time, Fergal McDermott, Nathaniel Hannon, and Dana O'Malley, Lord Scotty H, and Dean McKenzie, Al Benedetti, Angelo Minichello, boom, boom, Gasman 308, Danny L, Dave, Fahrenheit 451, Dave Fitzsimmons, Old Lady Ranchmont, and Easy E, me, rocking back, Chris up at Eastside, Drew B, Scotty, Love, Jocelyn, Bittenbender, yes. Thank you all for being part of my Patreon community. You wouldn't believe how much that helps me out in my quest to not have to get a day job and work for mean people anymore because they're horrible and I hate working for them. I like working for you. I like doing this show every single day, bringing it to you Tuesday through Friday. Now, tomorrow we're back with Thursdays. I will be doing a Friday bash about to the ends of the world. I will be doing that on Friday because it's the birthday show. And I hope everybody comes and hangs out and has a drink with me. And I'll have fun guests and all of that stuff. I'll have all my favorite people. I'll send out links for you to make guest appearances and all that cool kinds of stuff. I'll do that on the Friday show. It'll probably go pretty long because Saturday night, the actual birthday, me, Paul, and Patrick are hanging out. And we're just going to go have a quiet glass of wine somewhere. And that's it. And I hope to see you all then. Dave says, eventually the show will be just considered Patreon announcements. Well, that would be nice too. But no, this is all about you. This is about the bastards. Listen, you don't have to be a Patreon or subscriber, a super chatter to be a bastard. I'm a bastard. You're a bastard. Wouldn't you like to be a bastard too? Ooh, and all of that stuff. So I thank each and every one of you for your beautiful pictures, comments, and all the things that you do that make the Dirk Weekdays iBashers show so special for me and hopefully for you. And at the end of the day, please remember to hold the door open, say please and thank you, and always remember that when you encounter unkindness, you can't quite know what that person is going through. It's possible that they might be having a bad day. Give them the benefit of the doubt because they're just either having a bad one or they're just a
Asher.